All right, y'all. Hey, obviously Samantha here, and we are going to have a quick convo about narcissists. Yay! No, not yet. Okay. So let me adjust this. Hold on 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Child. Oh yeah, let me move my cup. You want to see my cute cup? Want to see my cup? I'm gonna let go and let God fix it. Because if I fix it, I'm going to jail. All right. So, why do narcissists gravitate towards you? I really am curious if anybody in the chat wants to tell me why they believe narcissists gravitate towards people. So, the bottom line is this: narcissists, some people might ask, well, how come narcissists are always gravitating towards you? It could be to the point where it starts to look like you're the problem, or you must be the problem, because that is the dynamic that's set not only by narcissists but by people who don't understand how narcissism works. And they're like, why are you always falling victim to narcissism? Why is it you always saying somebody is being narcissistic? And what it all boils down to is this: um, narcissists gravitate towards healers. Are you empathetic? Are you an empath? Do you feel energies? Do you seem to know things without ever being told those things? When people come in contact with you, once they leave, do they feel restored? Do they feel healed? Do they feel better? Are they more in touch with their inner sensitivities? Things like that. Because narcissists gravitate towards healers. There's this sense of needing fulfillment. And narcissists need fulfillment. They are some of the most insecure people in the world. And that's why we've seen such an increase in narcissism, because they need that energy. They're like energy vampires. They need that to feel better about themselves, you know. So we won't dive too much into narcissism and their ways today, but we will dive into why they gravitate towards you. So they come in contact with you, or they notice you, or they see you. They're always lurking, looking for the next victim. Once the one's escaped, I'm gonna put that out there. Okay. I know some of them are your parents, your spouses, your best friends, things like that. But and you love them, right? Doesn't mean they're horrible people in general when it comes to dealing with the average, right? Doesn't mean that they don't have special qualities. Doesn't mean they don't have these cute attributes and things like that. That's how they reel you in. Okay. Um, take a sip of my echinacea tea. Y'all haven't had echinacea. Oh shoot, I thought I had echinacea. That ain't echinacea. I'm sorry, y'all. That's tension time. All right. So if you have been one of the lucky people who have not come in contact with a narcissist in your life, which I would find extremely hard to believe, But if you are, congratulations. It makes sense that we are seeing such an increase in narcissism because number one, the pandemic. Okay, during the pandemic, people had to really sit with themselves, and it challenged them a lot. They had to see their inner demons, basically. And during that, and you saw the people you were confined with too, right? So it basically exposed to insecurities. And remember, narcissistic people are extremely insecure. So exposing those insecurities is a scary thing, especially when you're not willing to do the work. When you're not willing to do the work to properly heal, okay? Because a lot of those people have dealt with traumas and they want to gain some type of control, so they try to control someone else. They gravitate towards a healer because they want to feel better, because opposites attract, if you're getting what I'm saying. Okay, it's like a positive needs a negative it needs a positive, and things like that. Because how else will you keep the balance? So that's the reason they gravitate towards you. Now the problem is, you would say, well, if they just want to be healed and they gravitate towards healers, then why aren't they healing? Why don't they accept and all that? Again, they don't want to do the work. They like themselves. They want somebody else to be okay with it. And they know that a healer is always going to do what? Try to heal. Which means you're going to be there. You're going to be constantly trying to heal someone, giving them a run for their money, chasing after to heal. And they are playing the game. They're getting the attention that they want. And they know they're always going to be feeding you some type of drama. And so, with that being said, um, it's going to be like cat and mouse. It's going to be like Tom and Jerry. You know, y'all both are chasing after something. Now, you might be chasing for the right reason. You're like, just let me heal you. Let me heal you. They don't want to be healed. They don't want that. They're there because they desire to be healed, but they're not willing to put in that work. And so that's why you kind of get the sense that they care about you, they love you, and all that kind of stuff, because you're like, well, I've seen another side. Because they do have another side. They all have another side. The side of them that's not all the way broken and traumatized, but they still hide behind that security blanket of narcissism. They don't want it to be exposed. Okay, so you might be like, all right, how do I know they're a narcissist? All right, let's talk about it. One of the ways we know a narcissist is a narcissist is they're always blaming you. Everything. You're always to blame. They're never wrong. They never take true accountability. And I say the word true accountability because one thing to be like, okay, I acknowledge I did this wrong, but say it's that but factor. Or it's I did this wrong because it's never an I was wrong for that and I genuinely apologize. Now, if you get to the place with the narcissist where they are offering that, that's probably meaning that you've already told them you're done. I can't do this anymore or whatever. Because a narcissist is not going to change or willingly apologize or try to make a truce unless they want something. So what they want is to keep the game going. You ever play Monopoly with somebody who just won't stop playing and you're like, I'm tired. I've been playing this game for about 7 hours. I just want to go to bed. And they're like, no, 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 no. They gotta play. They want to play. They're going to stop you from going to bed. No, you're playing this game. No, we got to finish this game, right? Because they want to win. And that's exactly how a narcissist operates. A narcissist is playing this game throughout life. And if you want to be the person to get up from the game, they're looking for the next person who wants to sit down. You know what I mean? And they're going to seek until they find somebody that's willing to be like, oh, and the narcissist normally will lay down all of that once they get comfortable with you and they feel like they kind of got you, or they're trying to get you in, they'll reel you in by just telling you all of their sob stories, things that's happened to them, you know, and all of that. The reason that a narcissist is going to tell you all this stuff is so that you feel sorry for them. Why? Once they tell a story about something that somebody should feel sorry about, that's how they root out who are the healers, who are the empaths. Because somebody else will run. They'd be like, traumatized, childhood trauma, mommy, daddy issues. They're gonna leave. They don't want a broken person like that. But a healer does. A healer's like, that's my calling, that's my purpose, that's my next person, that's my next thing to work on. And it's hard to break that cycle. It's hard to break that cycle because that's your desire. That's the way that you give love. And you're not going to get it back. And you don't care to get it back when you're an empath. But your love language, they're not going to speak to, because a lot of empaths, they lack empathy. So it's that opposite attract kind of thing. They lack it, so they try to seek it in somebody else, but still want to control the dynamic because they want you to be what they need you to be, but they also want you to be what they want you to be. And so they're not going to give it back. They lack empathy. One of the things for me that was so hard initially in the beginning was to accept that anybody could lack empathy. And I still struggle with it sometimes myself, to accept the fact that some people lack empathy. But then you look out in the world and you're like, look at these people, these chaotic fools, and you realize they're heartless. And when you know that they're heartless, you know they lack empathy. Okay, they lack sympathy even. Now, one thing about an empath, I will tell you that's different from like a sociopath. A narcissist might lack empathy, but they won't lack sympathy. And I didn't mean empath, I meant a narcissist. Empathic people are extremely sensitive to everything around them. You know, they normally have to block out whatever energy they don't want there. Um, and you need to learn how to do that if that's you. But narcissists, they gravitate, they gravitate towards healers. And then you know what's the crazy part? If you tell them that you're a healer, even if you try to explain it all, they will not acknowledge what you're saying. They're not going to acknowledge the fact that you think that you're a healer. Because one thing about a narcissist is they are always going to be right. There is never anything that you're going to say or do that's going to convince a narcissist that they're wrong. If a narcissist tell you, yes, I'm wrong, the only reason they're telling you they're wrong is because they want to keep you and will you back in. They want to emotionally entrap you. I have encountered narcissists in my personal life, in my professional life. And we all deal with them to an extent. Like they can say and treat you, they can say anything and treat you however they want to, but then you can't do it. You can't do it and reverse it on them just so they can see how it feels. You can't do it. It already hurts you to do it, but then they want to hurt you for doing it. They're never going to admit that there's something wrong with them. And that is the problem, is that they can't admit it. They can't. They won't. And here you are loving or respecting these people because you know there's another side and you're so empathic and you're like, maybe they're broken. Maybe they're hurt. They're dealing with childhood trauma. Something's wrong at home. If you say those kinds of things to yourself, you're probably an empath and you're making excuses and sympathizing with the abuser. You're sympathizing with the abuser. Now, what you're doing is a sign of uh, BWS. They used to call it battered women syndrome, but not only women experience that. Um, and so that is what you're doing. Stockholm syndrome. Um, you're dealing with a lot, which requires you to heal. You need to do some healing. You need to do some healing. And no one can tell you what your healing process must be. Now, if you talk to somebody and you tell someone what you're into, they can guide you. Okay. Um, they can guide you down that path. One of the things that I do is what I call talk therapy, and it's one on one with my clients. And there's a list of questions that I ask. Everyone's different, there's different routes to take. And I just meet you right where you are. Um, and you can go to my website to book a session with me. But we have to heal from the inside out. And you need to talk to someone who is on the outside. If you're talking to your parents, I know they love you, but that's not the people to talk to. If you're talking to the spouse and you're begging, please just hear me, please understand. You could be on the floor with tears in your eyes, flesh burning, blood pressure extremely high. They don't care. They can't. They're missing that. And it's not, the wire's missing, y'all. I don't know how else to try to explain it for you. It's missing. You're trying to get them to connect to a wire that's missing. And so you can't teach a person to care. You can't guilt a narcissist into anything. You have to teach them how to treat you. And you have to teach them what's tolerable and what is not. They'll genuinely think that nothing's wrong with them. So you're going to be arguing by yourself. And arguing with fools will get you nowhere. So you're like, oh, it's just a hopeless end. Or what if this is my kid's mother? Or what if this is my kid's father? What if this is my parents? Again, you have to teach them how to treat you and what you will and will not tolerate. And then you cut off. Ultimately, there's your answer. You cut them off. Because if you're constantly allowing these people to trample over you, You're the one going insane. You are. So you need to have a little backbone, and you need to stand up and face your insecurities and your desire to be superhuman and try to fix everyone. But then I just feel like, what is my life for? What is my life for if I'm not helping people or healing people? What is your life for if you play the martyr and let these narcissists kill you, either from the inside or from the inside out or the outside in, because they're capable either way. And either way, they're going to break you to that point. Choose yourself. Choose to love you. Self care. The same love and everything that you give them, give you. How about that? How about that? How about the fact that you just you just have so much compassion because of the brokenness that they've experienced? What about having compassion on yourself for the brokenness you've experienced? Now, I can genuinely talk about this because I've genuinely dealt with it all the way around. Okay? Check my camera real quick. I see my little cute horses. This is my spirit animal, and I kind of look like the horse too, don't I? All right. That's very silly of me. But I'm just keeping it real with y'all. We need to stop making excuses for poor behaviors. It's unacceptable, folks. These people are choosing to be narcissists. And you know, the sad thing about it is, after you let go of one narcissist or after you move on from a narcissist, what ends up happening is another one comes. They're like spirits looking for somebody who can see them, right? They're looking for you to acknowledge them. That's all they want, acknowledgement. They want to be acknowledged nonstop. You see how much energy that requires? They want to be acknowledged nonstop. Now, who's willing to acknowledge them nonstop? I'm not. I'm not going to acknowledge them nonstop. Okay. Now, if you want to acknowledge them nonstop, you can go ahead and acknowledge them nonstop. I'm not. Oh, I'll put it in the chat, hun. It's my cash tag. Because everybody knows that Instagram likes to take a huge percentage. All right. So, anyway, if, yes, I'm on more than just Instagram, I'm on YouTube too. But YouTube likes to take it as well. So, they both do. Excuse me. I'm on more than one live stream, just letting y'all know. So if I put it in the chat and you're like, what? Right. That's why. So what I want y'all to understand is this. You're not defeated. You are not all the things that those narcissists have told you you are. You're so much better than that. And you can't even see it because they've broken you down mentally to the point where you don't see the value. You don't understand. You're just like, I don't know. But I know. I know. And I know for you. And you know too. And you know that I know because you just listen to the live. So you know it's true. You've been dealing with somebody who's so selfish, so self absorbed, narcissistic, never takes accountability, and always blames you. It's time to get out of that cycle, especially when the retrograde's happening. I mean, good gosh, y'all are just cycling it back around. Step away from these narcissists, okay? All right, I love y'all. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Yes, some videos be all over the place. That's who I am, okay? But I love y'all.